you have really good technology that excels and actually outperforms your competitors. My name is Eduardo Rosa-Molinar. I'm a professor of cell biology, physiology, neuroscience, and imaging science at Washington University's in St. Louis School of Medicine. I'm also the scientific director of the Center for Cellular Imaging here at Washington University in St. Louis School of Medicine. I've always been interested in understanding cellular dynamics within the nervous system. To study biological tissues, one of the biggest challenges is that we have an issue of charging. And charging is that the tissue is non-conductive, and we'll use processes to basically make the tissue conductive. The biggest challenge that we've had is that many of the steps that we use to make the tissue conductive will actively block or inhibit our ability of looking at and analyzing elements that we need to see inside the tissue. And one of the things that I'm very interested in is in metals, metal ions in tissues and in cells. And so one of the ways that we've done to solve this is that we've developed some new reagents to basically make the tissue highly conductive, but the elements that we use makes the tissue in a way conductive, but also we are not getting signals that inhibit our ability of actually detecting those signals within tissue. The biggest challenge that we've had is actually finding a microscope company that will work with us to basically solve these problems. And one of the biggest joys has been working with Hitachi. The microscope that's here to my right is basically the SU7000. One of the biggest challenges is to basically be able to now get all of this hardware and software to work together to basically analyze this tissue in a very productive way. From the first introduction that I started to work with Hitachi back in 2014, 2015, it's been very cordial. They've been very receptive to a lot of my colleagues. The Hitachi Bob basically has always been some of my allies. And the service team, Jim Poulos, they've all been extremely helpful in actually trying to help me get to where I am. The lesson learned is that this team effort has been one of the biggest assets that we've basically used to move this forward. And we're getting closer and closer and closer to getting my vision to actually become a reality. What I love about it is that we are being allowed to push this in ways that basically, through our partnership, we can now show you what we can do and why it's so relevant to the biomedical workforce and as well for solving multiple problems in biomedical research. The instrument that's here to my right is an instrument that's multi-scale, multimodal. And my problems go across multiple realms. What I want you to understand is that basically this instrument will allow us to do things. So the more questions and the more input that you give me, I can actually think about ways in which I can make this instrument work for you. Hitachi is a challenging company. It's challenging in the sense that you're so modest on how you make things. When I discover new ways of actually using your technology, it takes a while for me to basically be able to convince you that you're that good. It's because of your modesty. And what I would encourage you to do is to basically just be more open to how powerful you are as a collaborator and as a partner. The power of Hitachi is their partnerships.